All right, so no meal or day, I would say, is complete without something sweet. So here we're kind of doing a little bit of a dessert. This is a two-step process, depending on how sweet you want things to be. And we're in that October kind of season where, we really want some of those comfort, warm, cinnamony, apple pear type of dishes. I know for me, Cobbler is my go-to. Truthfully, I don't always like this stuff on top. I just really love like a baked apple with cinnamon and some sugar. But really the point here is that you definitely can have some fruit, right? So ones that you want to avoid are more of those berries. Why? Because of those seeds inside. So, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries, they have so many little seeds. That's a lot of fiber. So with bowel obstruction, you do want to avoid those as much as possible. Things like oranges, you can have, but you want to take away those membranes. So you have that skin, and then each piece is wrapped in a membrane. So having something like canned oranges where this membrane is removed, that's okay. Some people, say, well, it's always canned in syrup with lots of sugar. So if that's the case, then what you can do is just drain or rinse. So you have options. Other fruit that is good to have, so anything when the skin is removed. So if you're doing an apple or a pear, remove that skin. Bananas are fine. Peaches, again, plums, nectarines, totally fine. Just remove that membrane skin. Really easy if you blanch. Jeremy talked about that technique before, and we have some videos online on that. Any type of melon, so watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew, those are awesome. Those are like on the choose list. And again, total of 4 servings of fruit vegetable. So if you want 2 servings of fruit, 2 servings of vegetable throughout your day is the recommendation. And a serving is half a cup. So if you look at your fist, it's about half that size. Canned fruit, peaches, mandarins, oranges, pears, applesauce. These are all also on that choose list. Grapes are a no-no, kiwis no-no, avocado, pomegranates. Okay, those are the ones that you kind of want to avoid. I think I went over what fruits you can, and clearly there are so many that you can have, and I do encourage you to have ones for sure. And this one is an apple dish, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping it pretty simple and seasonal, but I think this is super delicious. You don't have to make a cobbler too complicated. So we are using an apple. Any good baking apples will obviously work. I like Golden Delicious in baked recipes, so if I'm making pies or something like this, a crisp, I love Golden Delicious apples. And so we want to make sure we peel them. And what I do is after I peeled it, the outside will start to brown and will start to oxidize quickly. So you can just throw that into some cold water, even maybe put a little bit of lemon juice in there or a little bit of acidity, and that'll prevent it from browning. And then we're going to dice this up. Now, cobbler is, I guess it's like kind of a version of like a crisp or a crumble, but it has more of like a pancakey kind of topping. And it's seen quite a bit in the South, so you should find it in the States in the South, and then you might see it in the UK as well. Here, I think we're more used to like crisps and crumbles, where it has more of like an oat topping or like a nuts topping. But this is actually really, really, really tasty. And what I love about it is it's simple, but very, very customizable. So, when apples are in season, use apples. When peaches are in season, you can use peaches, right? If you're trying to stick to that list that Stephanie has been referring to, there's some great options like she mentioned on there as well that would work in some of these. All right, so remove the skins, remove the seeds. We're going to slice this up into kind of larger, maybe what, a quarter centimeter, half centimeter type slices. And I'm just using one apple, so I'm making like 2 little mini ones. Obviously, you can make a bigger crumble. You can do like a whole pan, like a whole baking dish. But if you just want to make it for like 1 or 2, then you can scale down. So this is just 1 apple here. Then you're going to add that to my bowl. We'll use this bowl. All right. And I'm going to add a little bit of maple syrup. So for sweetness, and this is going to help to create this sort of sauce and bind everything together. So about a tablespoon per apple. So if you're using 2 apples, use 2 tablespoons. Don't need a lot. And then some spices to really, really elevate the flavors here. So I have some cinnamon and some ground ginger. Putting that in. We'll just give this a quick little tossy toss over here. That's pretty much it. I mean, that's the hardest part for the filling. And then we can put that into, like I said, you can put that into like a large baking dish if you're making a larger amount. If you're making individual ones, you can use these little ramekins. I even have these like little tiny loaf pans, and they just put some parchment in there to line it. So we'll fill that up.
I actually recently saw frozen apples at the grocery store cut up in the frozen section. So, know that that's an option. You wanted to use peaches, you could do that too. The great thing about those is that the skin, the membrane is already removed.
Yeah, so apples in your trays. And then for the topping, and this is what's kind of unique about Cobblers, it's kind of like a cakey topping. So we're going to add some flour. For this amount, I'm going about half a cup. Now this is just regular all-purpose flour, because for this case, we do want to make sure that we're keeping the fiber down, right? But if you're not concerned about it, you can definitely use like a whole wheat or spelt flour. Just in this case, we're going to be using just all-purpose. And that had, I just put a little pinch of baking powder in there. And then I'm going to add a little bit of liquid. And you can add just regular milk or like a soy milk if you want to this. I want about a quarter cup to start. And then if I need more, I'll add more. And then for a little bit of fat, usually butter is added, which you can definitely use butter as well. But I'm using olive oil just to change it up a little bit. And olive oil actually kind of tastes really nice with apples, believe it or not. So we're gonna add about a tablespoon of that and mix it up. So flour, a little bit of olive oil, and a little bit of milk or milk alternative. And what I want to get here is the consistency of like a thicker, like kind of pancake batter. Now, sometimes they're made like scones, like biscuits, so it's obviously a lot thicker. I like it when it's more like a battery kind of consistency. And so that's exactly what we're looking for. Don't worry about if there's any lumps or anything. That's okay for this. It doesn't have to be super smooth. And I'm just going to kind of just roughly pour it over top. Wherever it falls, it's going to kind of fall around the apples, which is good. Some will stay on top, just like that. That goes into the oven, so you can put this on a baking tray. That goes into the oven, 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. And voila. We have, I like these cool, I would not be grabbing them. So we have our little apple, cinnamon, cobblers here. And I'm just gonna go into this one. So you can see like how the batter kind of falls in and around the apples, and it creates this really, really kind of tasty, crumbly consistency, a little bit of cakiness. And then the apples, which is important, are nice and soft. So they cooked in the oven, and you don't have to worry about any of the skins and seeds on there as well.
That is it.
That is the recipe.